the question that never loses its relevance is how to find yourself, like in the movie Slumdog Millionaire. To answer the question, I start recalling why I made that particular choice at different points in my life. In my school years, I never stressed about studying, didn't cram or memorize homework, but still graduated with excellent grades without a single B. Then I scored almost top marks on the final exam. Some call it the SAT or ACT, others the Unified State Exam, and we had the Hunter exam. After that, I got into a state-funded university program, studied, and earned my first degree without much effort. Then I went on to pursue a master's degree. Again, I had no trouble passing the exams and got into a state-funded program. Since I aced everything, I had the bonus of an increased scholarship and graduated with honors, getting a red diploma without much stress. And like in school, I used about 30% of my full potential for studying. You could say I was playing on easy mode, getting perfect scores on all the tests, the thesis, and other tasks. Back then, I thought that since studying was easy for me, it was what I should be doing. Even though I'm not working in my field now, I gained a lot of experience and knowledge in university, which I can use in many areas unrelated to my major. I had the opportunity to work with experts in their field, but one of the main things I realized was, this is not for me. I discovered that I enjoy learning on a broader scale and sharing my thoughts. However, I don't like the idea of working as a research scientist. During my studies, I worked with a professor and even sometimes taught first and fourth year students, even though I was not much older than them. While it was a valuable experience that I was kindly given, it wasn't enjoyable for me. The restrictions on topics and plain lack of interest didn't allow me to enjoy the work. But it seems I caught the attention of my professors, as they offered me a position in their research lab with a future career and other perks. You know, I studied for 6 years, passed hundreds of exams, and built my reputation among the smart ones, all for this story to lead to the punchline that I turned it down. It seemed like the clear path was laid out, but I said no. Sometimes you just have to ask yourself, do you really want to do this? And I realized that while I've always enjoyed learning and discovering new things, it's not for me. Is there a fundamental difference between studying something like physics or biology and studying art, films, music, and other works? As someone who has studied both, I'll tell you, there isn't. I've often said that information is information, study is study, and you give weight and meaning to everything yourself. I've always been drawn to creative activities, and at one point, I decided to take a less obvious path. Though, who knows? Maybe I'll want to go back, or maybe not. The work you enjoy won't be perfect. There's no job that you'll never get tired of. It won't be magical or easy. Any job can become routine, and any activity can get boring. You'll inevitably have to do things even when you don't want to, regardless of the income or other motivation. Nothing in this world is perfect, and unfortunately, even a dream job can lead to burnout and creative block. And if we consider the idea of a calling, we all understand that if we had an extra income to relieve the burden, many would start doing what they love. But reality is more challenging. Everyone has different mentalities and physical abilities, so we need to find where we have the most chances to excel. How can I find out what I could potentially become a master at? The only answer I've come to is to do as much as possible and learn as much as possible, just experimenting. The more you develop different skills and gain diverse experience, the better your chances of finding what truly suits you. We are all dependent on income and daily needs, but there wouldn't be any interest or excitement if it were easy and accessible. To be honest, like many others, I had a period when I thought I didn't want anything and nothing made sense. But then I remembered that I need to eat, and that movement is life, and this feeling of denial eventually passes. The sooner, the better. Sooner or later, you'll have to take a step. You know, one of the worst feelings I've ever had is when your potential becomes a prisoner of your body and mind. A person just starts to fade, and this leads to numerous disorders that can eventually overwhelm you. So just start reading, doing at least some exercise, going for walks more often, discussing different topics with someone, just so that your mind and body don't rust. And sooner or later, you'll see a very distant and foggy direction. That's what interests you, and then your mind will start guiding you in that direction. The main thing is not to be afraid and to go, because in the end, you might find that very thing, or you might not. But if you don't start the journey, you'll never know. I'm still on the journey myself. It took me literally 6 years just to figure out which direction I want to go. Another 6 months to push myself to do anything to move in that direction. And like everyone else, I have no idea where all this will lead me. So you're not alone. We're all like that. But there's no need to overthink and stress yourself out all day. Just do what you can and try different things. Nothing is certain. It's all about enjoying the ride, and there's no need to be a snob. I was once that know-it-all teenager who rambled on about the problems of existence, didn't listen, argued, and claimed to understand everything without even trying. Only with age do you realize how embarrassing that is. Instead of arguing, it's better to focus on self-improvement. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Broaden your horizons, because knowledge is meant to simplify life, not complicate it.